Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. This week, the mayor and other local celebrities hit the softball field for charity. The Shadow Box opens this weekend at Playhouse 22. And teen entrepreneurs make their mark in the business world on a preview of September's 18. These stories and more are coming up, including a consumer tip from Adrian Eisner and Doug Halverson with part 4 of his 5-part series on alcohol studies. But first, here's a look at Channel 8's program schedule for next week. Monday morning, step up to the 90s with Lenore Kulik on Look Great, Feel Great at 10 o'clock. At 10:30, join preschoolers for Stories from the Library. Tuesday evening, Elliot Taubenslogg's Children's Summer Theater and East Brunswick senior citizens perform true-to-life skits on aging aspects at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, Paul Hansen and his guests discuss securities fraud on You and Your Money. Business Bylines follows at 8 with a look at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Wednesday at 7:30, join Superintendent of Schools Dr. John Kopko for Spotlight on Education. And at 8 o'clock, take a trip inside the Middlesex County Votech School at East Brunswick. Thursday, watch This Week in East Brunswick 2 times at 7 and again at 8 o'clock. At 7:30, Ken Shalhoub looks into attention deficit disorders on Let's Talk Health. Watch the Channel 8 Community Bulletin Board for program schedules and community announcements.
The Dave Sims All-Stars, a collection of sports celebrities and media personalities captained by the WFAN Radio Madison Square Garden Network host, played East Brunswick's Mayor Jackson Agra and the East Brunswick Republican Club in a charity softball game on Sunday at the East Brunswick Baseball Managers Field. Before the game started, we had a chance to speak with Mayor Jackson Agra and hear his thoughts on the day's events.
Hi, today we're here for charity again. It's East Brunswick GOP Party versus the WFAN All-Stars. Today's charity is Tomorrow's Children, and playing are a group of great athletes, truly men of great personal strength and vigor, and we're probably going to get killed today. But it's all for charity, it's a lot of fun, and we're going to have a good time today. So if you get a chance, our next event will be, I'm having a scholarship, Mayor's Scholarship golf outing, and that's sometime in the mid-September. So if you get a chance, come out, bring the clubs, and have some fun.
Hi, I'm Scott White, and I'm standing here with Ira Oskowski, Republican Township Council member in East Brunswick. Ira, are you a softball player?
Well, today everybody's a softball player. We're here to have a good time, and we're all softball players. There's some people that are better than others. I'm probably right in the middle, but everybody's a softball player today.
What position can we expect to see you playing today?
Today I'm starting at first base. That was pretty easy because I picked the teams and I set up the lineup, so I put myself at first base to play for such a worthy cause.
How do you think you're going to do as a team?
I think we're going to do okay. They have some pretty big guys on their side, and you know, it's going to be a little bit tough, but we have several players from the Republican Club and also the EBBMA, and we're going to try to beat them. Again, we're going to have a lot of fun doing it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Besides local political celebrities, the game featured well-known sports and television personalities, including the captain of the All-Star team, Dave Sims. Could you please tell us, as the captain of the All-Star team, who it is that'll be on your side facing the Republicans?
Well, we've got a sort of an NFL alumni club here. We've got Bernie Pryor, who played for a couple of years with Miami Dolphins, Al Dixon, who played with the Giants and the Chiefs, Tim Bassett, who played for the Nets, that's basketball, of course, Del Austin, who played with the Yankees, Billy Taylor, who played with the Giants and Jets, John Bellaris from Channel 2 and Z100, Dave Fratkin, who played at the University of Connecticut, and I think that's Sam Rosen from MSG Network. That pretty much covers it.
Could you tell us where the proceeds from this game are going and why you chose to take part in this organization?
Well, it goes to Tomorrow's Children's Fund at Hackensack Hospital in New Jersey. Excuse me. And it's a charity my wife and I have been involved with for about 2-3 years now. George Martin, when he was with the Giants, got us involved, and it's the charity that we spend most of our time with, and very close to the people who run the organization. And this is the second year in a row, second year that we've done softball games. 3 this year. We did 2 last year. So we usually raise anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 a game. So and it goes to a very good cause.
Before the commencement of the game, we had the opportunity to speak with Bruce Johnson, news director for WCTC Radio, and find out what his role in this charity event was.
At second base, a Somerset resident, a Syracuse alum, and a former Cincinnati Bengals NFL linebacker, Lonnie Allgood.
What I'll be doing is announcing and introducing the starting lineups for both ball clubs, introducing Mayor Jack Sinagre, and then during the course of the game doing some PA announcing.
Why is it that you chose to give of your time to this organization?
Well, I gave my time for the charity that the proceeds will be going to the Children's Fund, and an opportunity to come out and enjoy some sun on an August afternoon.
I'm standing here with John Montefusco, former Yankee pitcher. John, what position can we expect to be seeing you playing today?
Hopefully they'll let me pitch on the mound. I had a shoulder operation in September, and I still can't throw overhand, so the only thing I can do is throw the ball underhand.
How long have you been involved with these charity softball games?
This is my first one, but I do a lot of things for charities, and this is actually the first game I'm going to be playing.
Why is it that you chose to play in this game?
Well, I know some people from the fan radio, and they asked me to come over, and I live over in Colts Neck, so it wasn't too far, so I decided to come over.
Proceeds from the softball game will benefit the Tomorrow's Children's Fund, which provides assistance for children with cancer and blood disorders at Hackensack Medical Center.
Hi, I'm Dolly Baxter with your Arts Update at Playhouse 22, and I'm here with an old friend of mine, good buddy, very talented gentleman by the name of Jim Meadows, who is the director of the show that is going to be opening at the Playhouse this Friday night. The show is going to be The Shadow Box, right?
That's correct.
It was the 1977 Pulitzer Prize winner.
That's correct.
Good. And now you can say more than one word, Jim. What is it all about?
It was also the 1977 Tony Award-winning drama. What The Shadow Box is about is it's about three separate families who live in cottages on a hospice. One member of each of the families is terminally ill, and what the show deals with is a realistic outlook on how the members of the family and the person who is ill, they deal with this last stage of that person's life.
Well, although this sounds like a real downer description, and I don't mean this in total sense, but it really has a lot of hope to it, doesn't it?
Hope is one of the clinical feelings that the person has when they go through this terminal illness. That's what keeps people going, and that's what spiritually what we're trying to portray in this show.
All right, now the show opens this Friday. What is the date?
The date is August 24th.
Would you know it?
I did. August 24th, yes.
All right, and it runs 3 weekends till September 9th. Very good. Friday and Saturday nights, and because it's our summer show, it's a Sunday night show at 7:30, right?
That's right. I scheduled it for Sunday at 7:30 because the way I looked at it was no one would want to leave their barbecues, their picnics, their drinking at 3 to come here at 3 o'clock. Rather, they have a good time, then come here and sit down and get involved in a really good drama.
And it certainly is. I saw a rehearsal of it. In fact, we have a piece of it which we're going to show, okay?
Okay, great.
And the telephone number, by the way, is 254-3939. Don't miss it. See you Friday night.
Thank you.
Hey, is this place bugged or what? Bugged?
I brought some Lysol. Here.
No, you know, like bugged, wired. What do they do, listening with those hidden cameras?
Yeah, every move and every word.
Joe, cut it out.
But they got wires near the beds.
Those are for me, don't worry about it.
Here, you take the stuff inside and keep the noise down.
Come on in, Maggie, I'll show you around.
No, I want to stay outside for a while. It's nice.
I'll get my guitar. You like it, don't you?
Sure, it's nice. Stephen, you help me with this.
I knew you would. They've got, I'll take you for a walk, they've got a swimming pool in there, tennis court, little river, runs back there through the trees. I'll show you later, we got time, there's no hurry.
Stephen!
Leave him be, I can get this.
No, you rest. Stephen!
The more exercise I get, the better I feel.
Well, there's no sense pushing it, huh? Steve can do it. Stephen, put that thing down and give your father a hand.
Where do you see it, Dad? Over on the north side. The gate where you come in, you can see this whole valley. It's all squared off and patched up with farms like a quilt. There's hundreds of them, I'll show you.
Farms? You mean they got farms?
They've got hundreds of them. Christ, it was great to get out of that city.
Here, you take the stuff inside. Put this in the kitchen. You got a kitchen?
Sure. Kitchen, 2 bedrooms,
No,
a
we never
living
did
room.
get our farm. I think we should do that. We should get that farm.
Maybe we should have.
There's more here when you're finished, so hurry up.
A little place like this.
Don't start on the farm, for God's sake. It always ends up bad when you start on the farm.
We could sit out every night singing and howling at the moon. Oh!
Stephen, be quiet. Where do you think you are? Here, this goes in the bedroom.
Aren't you ever coming in?
I'll come in when I'm good and ready.
You know, it might have worked, Maggie. See me all dressed up in coveralls, early morning, up with the sun. What do you think?
It's a lot of hard work. I don't want to hear about it.
A little hard work will never kill you.
Don't tell me about hard work.
It's good for you.
Good for you, not for me. Milk the cows, clean the chicken coop. Who would have done that, huh?
We could have had a couple 100 acres.
No, someplace small, something we could keep our hands on. Alalina, they had that place we used to go every Sunday.
It was dirty.
No, it wasn't.
And I never had a thing to say to them anyway, out there in the sticks. Who do you see out there? Chickens and pigs?
They had neighbors.
Chickens and pigs?
But you get used to all that.
I don't want to hear about it. Here, Stephen, this is the last one. Put it anywhere.
You would too have, like, you get a little chicken shit between your toes because if you did change the whole distance.
Come on, Maggie. Come on. Come on.
I'm not going in there. Now stop it.
I'm going inside to practice.
Sure.
There's a whole lot of stuff I gotta tell you. We can talk, huh? Not to worry you, but well, we can talk, huh?
Yeah, sure. Maggie?
I didn't tell him.
What?
Stephen, I didn't tell him.
Maggie, what's the matter with you?
I couldn't.
He doesn't know? What does he think? Does he think I'm going home with you? Maggie, why didn't you tell him?
I couldn't.
Why not?
Because it isn't true. It isn't true.
Cloudy with a few sunny breaks and not as warm tomorrow with a high of 53.
You are watching a man have a heart attack.
Mom, your breakfast is ready.
He's hoping it's nothing, but he knows the signs.
Oh, what do we need to be hungry?
Hi, gang.
Here's your juice, Daddy.
Oh, thanks, sweetie.
Hey, you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine.
And now is the time he should be getting help.
Call me later, okay?
Yeah.
Getting to the hospital at the first signs of an attack can save your life.
Paul? Need your help. Better get me to a hospital.
Remember, your life is in your hands.
Welcome. I'm Doug Halverson, Director of Consultation and Education at the Middlesex County Mental Health Clinic. This is the fourth in our series on current issues in the treatment of alcohol problems. With me today is Dr. William Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein is the Director of the New Jersey Collegiate Substance Abuse Program. Dr. Frankenstein, thanks for being here.
Pleasure, Doug.
Bill, what are some of the unique features about treating college students?
Well, we're discovering that by virtue of this project, college students really haven't been studied before as a population in and of their own right, but the kinds of problems we see with our students who are in treatment here are really not that terribly different from those that we see for college students in general, so that our population of alcohol and other drug-abusing students are struggling with issues of identity. Who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to concentrate my studies in? They're dealing with the problems of being away from home, perhaps for the first time, dealing with experimentation with a wide range of things, not just drugs and alcohol, but being fairly independent from parental authority, experimenting with sexuality and autonomy. So that our population is not that terribly different.
So one of the issues that's really important about treating college students and are developmental things. You've just listed several that are significant.
If you think about a college campus, certainly a residential college campus,
A person who is in their late teens, early 20s, and is using alcohol or other drugs recreationally might not be so different from the person who is at high risk to develop or has already developed chemical dependency. So that a campus environment is really an environment where there's a tremendous amount of tolerance for experimentation and even excess in terms of alcohol, drug use, and the sorts of things that happen on college campuses, like drinking to get drunk or going to parties where there's just excessive use of alcohol. The person with the addiction is going to fit in very well and not appear so terribly different because everyone's having some minor consequences to their use.
And maybe even having some of their addictions reinforced by their peers.
Absolutely. There's no real criticism for the kinds of behaviors that they're engaging in.
Bill, how would a college student be identified as having an alcohol problem?
College students tend to get identified in a number of different ways. One of the primary ways in which students get identified is that they come to the attention of university administrator, either a residence counselor or a dean, or perhaps a coach on an athletic team who has noted that the student has, on a couple of different occasions, perhaps gotten drunk or has been found passed out somewhere or has been caught vandalizing a dorm. And so they'll come to the attention of an administrator who might refer them to us for an evaluation. Now, the majority of these students are not students with chemical dependency, but some small proportion of them are, and in that case what we would try to do is once the person was identified, motivate them to consider appropriate level of treatment, whatever that might be for the individual. That could be, at Rutgers at least, that could be participation in an outpatient student assistance program. That might mean participation in our program, the New Jersey Collegiate Substance Abuse Program, which would offer 3 levels of care, either an intensive outpatient program in which the person would continue to live in the community but would participate in 2 or 3 times a week, a couple of groups, an inpatient treatment program where they would live here, or a partial residential level of care in which they would live here but would continue to go to classes.
Dr. Frankenstein, thanks for being here with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
For further information about the Collegiate Substance Abuse Program here at Rutgers, you may call 932-6646, 932-6646. I'm Doug Halverson. Thanks for watching.
Next month, Stuart Davis opens the 4th season of 18 with a look at teenage entrepreneurs. Here's an excerpt from one of his interviews.
Out of all the teens I've spoke with, John Sotomayor was the one who spent the most time and money incorporating his business. John, tell me about your business and how you got started in it.
Well, I was working at Treasure Island Christmas 2 years ago, and customers came and approached me about doing Christmas decorating at their home. I started to go to their houses reluctantly because I was unfamiliar with doing this in people's houses, and did it as a job to make extra money. Last Christmas, the Christmas of '89, I decided to incorporate my business and to become a full-fledged corporation.
Why did you do that?
Well, I was unfamiliar with incorporations and businesses, but I was advised by my lawyer, Jeanette Hoffman, and she took care of all the paperwork for me, and she got us set up as a full-fledged business. It helped me get started, and it helped me to learn a lot about businesses and the way businesses work. As for to recommend it to other high school students, I would say that unless you're really going to start something that's really big and that you really plan to do for several years, incorporation might not be the best way to go.
How much did all this cost to get you started?
To get started cost me approximately $1,500. That included the business cards and all the forms and paperwork that we had printed up, and advertisements also.
Now, I would imagine you'd have to do an awful lot of trimming to make that that back, tell me what your rate schedule was, how you charge your customers, and what type of return you got.
We charged it by the hour for our services plus the cost of our materials, and we charged anywhere between $32 to $36 an hour. Traveled and did places in East Brunswick. We did the Route 18 flea market. We did Plum Jewelers in the Mid-State Mall. We did homes in South River and in Manalapan, as well as some in East Brunswick. And that's basically what was most of our business for this Christmas.
Did you figure all this out on paper before you started, or did you just do it blindly?
Well, on paper I figured out something for a high school project, which gave me a guideline, but most of it I did just trying to see balancing my costs with what I was making and bringing in. And it did cost a lot to get started because there's a lot of just one-time setup costs that you need to account for.
What would you say is the most challenging part of owning your own business as a teenager?
Well, for me, the most challenging part was to balance my business with my part-time job at the time. I was working at Plum Jewelers, and at Christmas is probably the time where a store would most need a salesperson. And I had to then take my free time and balance that to spend with family and to get my business started and to take care of all the necessary things, paperwork, filing, and procedures.
What motivated you to do this? Was it the money?
No, the money really had nothing to do with it. I mean, you know, who would say that they wouldn't work to make money? But I wanted more to do it for the experience, for the learning experience, and to actually say that I owned my own corporation at such a young age. And that's what got me motivated to incorporate it and to go all the way out and go, spend all the money I did to make sure that every detail was taken care of, everything was done right.
So when you tell your friends about it, are they impressed that you owned your own business?
Well, most people, especially when you talk to adults, kids from the high school, I mean, my business was in 2 newspapers, in the home news and in the school newspaper, so they, by that time, had known that it was true. But I meet adults now and I tell them that I own my own corporation, they look at me and they say, no, you're kidding. And it's like, no, I'm not, and I have to explain that I really do own a business that's just as legitimate and legal as any other business in the town.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Thanks to the increasing publicity surrounding the winners of legitimate games of chance, such as state lotteries, many of us are eager to believe that someday we too will be a winner. When we receive notification, either by telephone or through the mail, that we are indeed a grand prize winner, our excitement gets the best of us, and we often respond to the solicitation requests. Unfortunately, a sizable percentage of these sweepstakes and contests are nothing more than scams designed to bilk us out of our hard-earned money. Along with the sweepstakes information, the letter will often contain a sales pitch to buy a product or a number of products. By law, your chances of winning any sweepstakes cannot be affected by your buying something. The odds of winning a sweepstakes should be explicitly mentioned. The contest appeal generally revolves around a letter stating that you have won something from among a list of seemingly fabulous prizes: a vacation home, a luxury car, a huge amount of cash, a fine watch. The catch is you don't know which prize you have won until you take some required action. Often, the required purchases in contests end up costing more than the prize is actually worth. Some sweepstakes or contests ask that you file a registration fee. Often, after collecting all the registration fees, they fold up operation without ever having a drawing or giving away the prizes. If you have any questions about contests or sweepstakes or any other consumer problems, please contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. The telephone number is 390-6954. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next time.